Greetings, Sean here, the Feral Witch of the Wilds. So today I thought I would talk a bit about a topic very near and dear to my heart of herbal medicine and herbal magic. And really the area that interests me the most is the crossover between those two. Because there is herbal medicine that has nothing to do with magic. There's herbal magic that has nothing to do with really medicine. So thought first I would, this is an introductory piece with a few thoughts at the end. When I say herbal medicine, I'm talking about using a plant and introducing some part or concoction from that plant into the body. And this can be through, eating it, drinking something, it can be extracting stuff from it, it can be a salve. But the key thing is that it's going into the body. And you're addressing typically physical or mental illnesses there. Something to remember, most of our many of our modern medicines are derived from plants. So this is not, herbal medicine is not some fantasy or anything. It is a very real field of medicine, even if it doesn't get the respect it really should in all corners. So when you're doing herbal medicine, which plant you're using, the growth stage, how you harvest, all of that, which part you harvest, is absolutely crucial. Doing it wrong can be harmful, even to the point of killing somebody. Using an improper substitution can be very serious results. So it's something that we need to blend the old knowledge and new knowledge in, because some traditional medicinals, we now know actually kind of have problems. Comfrey and liver damage is a great example. So you really need a strong knowledge of plants, properties, preparation methods, interactions, drug interactions. It's really what we're talking here. It's absolutely critical. So this is not something you just pick up casually. I would say look for authors with strong credentials in biology, botany, and medicine for the books that you add to your reference library, and you definitely should have a reference library on this. Also look at publication dates, because it was published too long ago. It can still be a good reference, but it's good to check for a modern state of knowledge of whether those plant parts are still thought to be beneficial, or if we have found out some new information. So one interesting online resource for a lot of this, things like the Mayo Clinic, that it's an excellent site, and actually under its traditional or herbal medicine category, you can find a lot of information about various plants and all that are used for medicinal purposes. I can't stress this enough. Don't trust random internet sites and posts. There's a tremendous amount of bad information out there. There's a lot of books that are published, especially in today's world. It's very easy to publish a book. I could write a book that was pure nonsense and have it listed up there on Amazon, give it some glowing reviews, There's a way you create multiple accounts. You buy a copy of the book, have it shipped to a post office box, something, use a gift card to buy the book, and now you've got this completely separate account that's giving this glowing review of this book, when in reality it's the author reviewing their own book. So be careful of that. Take a look at what's the credentials of the person. Herbal magic. So herbal magic is using plant parts as part of spellcasting. Now, that can involve ingesting something from that plant into the body, in which case it is also herbal medicine. Or it may not involve ingesting any part of the plant. It just may be that plant or plant part is used in the spellcasting. The part that I'm really mostly interested in is where you're going to be ingesting part of that plant, so it's herbal magic that is also herbal medicine. And this is an area that I hope to do hopefully fairly common videos, talking about various things, presenting resources that I have found useful, maybe some that I have found not useful. But that's really the main area that I want to take this. So the way I view it is herbal magic can supercharge herbal medicine with your intentions, with your magic, with the goal of making the products of herbal medicine even more effective. What you're not going to do is cause those plants to do something completely brand new. If it didn't have some level of function with just straight herbal medicine, adding the herbal magic on top of the herbal medicine is not going to suddenly make it address this item that's way off there. It's not the way things work. So, one thing also through this is I'm not just going to talk about things for beneficial uses and everything. I'm going to also point out some of the risks that we do with plant materials. And I'm going to give two examples here. The first one is our traditional and current concoctions that fit into the flying potions. I mean, the first thing to understand is the flying potions did not let you actually physically fly. They were psychedelics, so you were mentally flying. Kind of before PCP was around, angel dust, just different names, same deal. You had other ways that people were going on psychedelic trips. So we now know that some of the plants used in those historical flying potions were actually toxic. Not good for you by any means. And there are modern concoctions that achieve the same end goal of a psychedelic effect that, to our current state of knowledge, do not contain things that are known to be toxic to you. So that's just one example of if somebody was to say they want to be all traditional, well, that means you're going to poison yourself a bit here if you're going to use something like this. Oddly enough, there are still people who, even though they're warned that these things are toxic, they still want to use the toxic components, even though there are modern substitutions to achieve the same end result. So people can be funny. And I do need to say the advisability of using a psychedelic is an area of active debate in modern medicine. I will never advocate that you use them. I don't use them myself. I have no interest in doing that. For experiencing oneness and understanding of nature and everything, I don't need them. It's something I do naturally. The other topic I want to touch on for a harmful one, this actually goes beyond just the field of herbal medicine, herbal magic, because there's plenty of things where we burn something, whether it's a charcoal disc to burn incense on, burning incense sticks, burning sage, but we're burning plant material. And this is an area that's near and dear to my heart because I have spent my life in the air quality field, air quality management, pollution control management. Protecting the environment fits very much with my philosophy as a witch and how I approach my pagan beliefs. So, anytime you burn vegetative material, processed or otherwise, you're not going to get the perfect stoichiometric mix of oxygen and material, which means you're going to get you're not going to get complete combustion. You're going to get incomplete combustion, which means that certain things are generated. So one of those things is very fine particulate matter. We're talking about stuff that makes a hair off the top of your head look large, huge, in fact. These particles will go into the deepest parts of your lung, the alveoli. They can actually cross the barrier over into the bloodstream. They also have a tremendous surface area per unit mass that tends to be really good about glomming on to toxics created during the burning process. And they will bring those into your lungs. And particulate matter exposure from combustion, especially, has been tied to a lot of not just lung issues, but cardiac issues, a whole slew of health impacts. And where with many pollutants, they can hit a point where they say if you reduce it down to this level, you don't really see any increase in health effects, positive health outcomes, if you keep dropping it down. So there kind of is a maximum safe level where if you're at that or below it, it's kind of the equivalent of having it be zero. These fine particulate matters, if there's a safe level of them where there is no additional health impacts over just having zero of them, we have yet to figure that out. Everything points to there being no safe level other than zero. So, something to be aware of. What's the ventilation in there? Are you in a closed room burning candles, incense, sage? Your pollution loading in that room is going to be pretty high real quick. And yeah. The other thing, going to generate carbon monoxide. And the kicker there is that gets glommed onto by your red blood cells, preferential to oxygen. And the bond is so strong with the hemoglobin that the carbon monoxide doesn't want to leave. So you end up with kind of suffocating is what it amounts to. Nitrogen oxides are formed anytime you have heat and ambient air There's a lot of nitrogen in the ambient air, and if you have sufficient heat, it will form nitrogen oxides. Wide variety of health impacts that those have been tied to. So an incomplete combustion itself can generate compounds that were not present in the original materials. That heat and flame and all drives a lot of chemistry, and some of those compounds are not real healthy for you. Some of them can be fairly benign if eaten, though not all of them. Turns out if you're searing a steak over a bed of charcoal and all, that there's actually, with the fat that comes out hits charcoal and what comes back up, there's some carcinogenic compounds that get plated out on your steak. It's real low amounts, but it is there. But the thing to note is that there's stuff that can be fairly benign if eaten, but if inhaled, can be a very serious problem. It's kind of interesting of mercury. Most people know that mercury is toxic. Well, actually, mercury itself in its diatomic liquid form is not toxic. Methylated mercury is toxic. What you get in seafood, fish, is methylated mercury. That's why it's a problem. But if you drink liquid mercury, initially it's not really a problem until your stomach acids causes a methylation reaction, at which point it is very, very dangerous. But that same diatomic mercury, the silver liquid that you see in old-fashioned thermometers and whatnot, if it's vaporized, is very dangerous to the nervous system. One of the origins of the term mad as a hatter is believed in some circles to be because the felting process to make the material to make hats used liquid mercury, and it was heated up and vaporized, so they were breathing it. And that's why they went solidly around the bend in all too many cases. So that's just some things. My goal is not to scare you off on this. There is a world of good you can do with herbal medicine and herbal magic, supercharging that herbal medicine. But you do need to go into it eyes wide open, realizing that this is a field that needs a lot of study, a lot of very critical thinking, and when you're preparing these things, needs a lot of care of just how exactly you do it. So we'll see where this topic goes, and this will be tagged in a playlist for herbal medicine and magic, and as I make future videos, they'll be added to that same playlist. And the frequency of them, I'm not sure yet what frequency I'm going to be doing these on, because when I do them, they definitely are going to be ones that require a fair bit of prep and very careful thought for how I present stuff and what do I present, because I do not want to be the cause for you being led astray. So, good day. May your day be very blessed and as beautiful as my day is here.